the new warm-up for late in 2024, 2025. So one thing you'll notice is I don't have shoes on. That's a big thing that I've been doing lately, is just when I'm doing my warm-up, getting out of the shoes, giving my feet a little bit of feedback, and then whenever I get onto the training session, then I'll start adding shoes. So we're going to go through the warm-up. I'm going to give a couple different options for some of the exercises that I'm going to give, just to give you more flexibility with your warm-up. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with egg rolls with a hip stretch. So I'm going to be like this, boom, okay. Now I'm going to roll, holding the leg, going back and forth. So it should feel like I get a stretch at the end of my hip, and roll. So when I'm rolling, we'll go for 5 of them. When I'm rolling, I'm getting tension into my midsection and kind of getting out of tension in the back. So that's what's good about rolling. It kind of shakes out a little bit of that tension. So we're gonna go 5 on each side, and also does a pretty good job of starting getting the heart rate up. So we're gonna go for 5 of those. Once you go from there, we're gonna go to a little bit of a T-spine, neck mobility, shoulder mobility drill. So what I'm gonna do, and I'll show it from a couple different angles. So if I go rotate towards you, I'm gonna look away, open, come back, look at you, open, come back. So I get a little bit of a lower body, upper body separation. I get neck mobility when I'm looking the other way. I get a lot of good stuff just from this one. About 5-ish, give or take. And I'm rolling, and if my mic gets a little muffled, I apologize. So from there, we're gonna go to a little bit of hip specific ranges of motion, but active range of motion. So we're gonna be in this 90 position that a lot of people are familiar with. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna have one hand kind of in the middle of this 90 degrees, other hand outside. I'm gonna try to lift, heel tap, so this external rotation, lift, and then go back to knee. So my knee, shin, and foot are all hitting at the same time. So external rotation and internal rotation. And I'm trying to just control that range of motion for 5 reps. And you'll just notice through each rep, you might notice areas where you want to kind of go a little faster. And those will be areas where you don't really have that much great control. So like hover, knee to the sky, tap, come back down, lift. So the more my kind of chest is upright, the more difficult it's going to be. So if this position is a little bit difficult, and if you get a little bit crampy, just go down that forearm, and this allows us to open up a little bit more for somebody that has a little bit less range of motion. So this position would be if you don't have a lot, the more upright, the more I have to work to get those 2 ranges of motion. Now from here, we're going to go to a little bit of crawl variation. So I'm going to show you a couple different ones that you can do. I just want you to crawl, do something for maybe 30 seconds. So I'm just going to go through just forward and back crawl to begin with. Hopefully I stay in the shot. If not, you should be able to see it from here. So I just can go a crawl and go forward. And then from there, I can go backwards. I don't always have to go forward and back. If I want, I can go a little bit to the side, a little bit to the side while I'm going forward, a little bit to the side if I'm going back. You can go straight lateral, lateral back, whatever you want for the crawls. Once we do the crawls, we should have the lower body pretty much warmed up on the ground, along with mobility. And now we're going to stand up, and we're going to go to a little bit of lunge variations. So I'm going to show you a couple different ones, and then I'm going to show you a couple different combinations that we can use. So usually I'll do like split squat, lateral squat, rotational squat, something like that. But we're going to show each of them, then I'll show you how you can kind of mix them together. So if we just go right side, I can go forward lunge, I can go side lunge, and then I can open up and go rotational lunge. So let's say if I just wanted to do like 10 lunges total, I could certainly do that. If I wanted to, I could go across, come back, side, whatever it is. So you can either do more structured where you're kind of just going boom, 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 back around, maybe cross over, or for those 10-ish or so reps, we can be a little bit more reactive. I'm gonna try to choose a different lunge pattern each time. So I can go, maybe I go side, across, back, kind of more like 2 o'clock, across, back, side, and I can even rotate here and come back. So you're gonna do about like 10 lunges that way. We'll do the same thing on the other side. If you don't want to be a little bit more random, if you want to be a little bit more structured, one I like is doing a rotational lunge here into your crossover step, rotational lunge into crossover step. And so I'll just do 5 of each. It doesn't have to be this one. It could be crossover into lateral lunge. Doesn't matter. So once we get those done, heart rate should be up. A lot of the joints that we want to work, we check a lot of those boxes. Then from there, I'm going to go with some pogo hops. So when I'm going to the pogo hops, I can do them in place, or I can, if I have space, I can move. So if I have space, I like to use it. So, but if I don't have space, I might do 3 sets of 10 seconds, just starting low, then getting a little bit bigger, and then a little bit bigger, equaling 10 seconds. Or if I have a little bit of space, I can start low, and then as I'm going, I can kind of just try to get a little bit more bouncier. As I'm going, I'll walk back, so everybody can hear me, and then I'll just go the same thing. I can also mix up between going low, going to high, and then I can switch back to a little bit of low. So I just want to get a little bit of low level plyometrics in there, again, to kind of get the foot ready, get the calves ready, if I'm doing any type of power work and things like that. For my last thing, I'm going to try to do skips. I'm trying to put as much force into the ground to get it high up towards the sky as I can. So I'm just going to go skips, and I'm really trying to exert a lot of force in the ground to finish, and then from there should be ready to go.